Hi, I'm Tyler, and welcome to another episode of my Christian Music Week reviews. Each week I take 5 releases, be it albums, EPs, or singles, and after I listen to them all week, I come back here and I review them. I share what I think about them. So without further ado, let's get to this week's first release. The expanded edition of Passion's latest album, Burn Bright. Passion's Burn Bright with more songs. Let's dive into it. So, what's new on this expanded edition of Passion's Burn Bright? Well, we got a few more live songs from Passion. Let's start off with the new original song, Yesterday, Today, and Forever, which they put out a live version for and a studio version for. And then they put out a live version for My Eyes Have Seen, which previously only had a studio version. And Passion also covered Maverick City Music's Son of Suffering. Crowder and Brooke Ligertwood also get another live song each on this new edition. Stylistically here, and I'm going to talk for the whole album here, the new tracks and the already released tracks alike. And by the way, before I get into that, pretty good expanded edition here. Pretty good new songs here. And interesting too how Yesterday, Today, and Forever are played in different keys in the studio and live version. So kind of get two different feels of the same song. And stylistically here, it's a worship album with pop rock, alternative, gospel, pop, country, and southern rock influence. And as for the lyrics here, love the lyrics here. And again, speaking for the already released songs and the newly released songs. And by the way, before I get into the lyrics, I feel like I should clarify that this new edition of Passion's Burn Bright, it's basically Burn Bright with more songs. They didn't rename the album at all. So it's still found under Burn Bright if you're looking for it on your streaming service. But anyhow, as for the lyrics here, love the lyrics here. They talk about praising Jesus for how in his sufficient love, through his sacrificial death and resurrection, he has opened the darkened eyes of us broken sinners to see his glorious freeing light that does a new thing in our hearts to cause us to sacrifice our lives to magnify his light, knowing that he satisfies with unchangingly merciful, sufficient provision. Up next, Katy Nichole's self-titled debut EP. So before I dive into my thoughts on Katy Nichole's self-titled EP, let me say, self-titled debut EP, let me just say this came across as a request from Christian Music Girl. Thanks, Christian Music Girl, for requesting this debut EP. Now let's dive into it. So, pretty good EP here. Stylistically, definitely a southern influence contemporary sound here, with some worship elements as well. And as for the lyrics here, by the way, pretty good debut EP. And as for the lyrics here, Katy thanks Jesus for that in his love and grace, when she was far gone in the grave of her sin, he pulled her out into a changed story where she trusts in Jesus through the storm to miraculously heal it into impossible blessings. Up next, Aaron Cole's new single, Choose You. Aaron Cole's new single, Choose You, the latest single in his Cole Season 2, where he puts out a new single on the last Friday of every month. Let's dive into it. If you want to hear my thoughts on the two other singles thus far in this season, Hard Times and Glory, you can go back and check out my thoughts on that after we're done. But let's talk about the new song, Choose You. So, pretty good song here. Stylistically, it's an R&B hip-hop banger, where Aaron vocally sing raps and sings, And might I add, he has a really good voice on this song. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. Aaron talks about how he would choose his wife over the success and fame because of how she loves him, unlike any other. Up next, Sandra McCracken's new album. Sandra McCracken's new album, Light in the Canyon. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good album here, even if it's a little different sounding than what I would normally listen to. Stylistically, it's a jazz and blues worship here. Also, might I add, Sandra plays the piano pretty well here. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. Sandra talks about how in confusing times, she puts her hope in God's eternally strong, loving covenant of mercy to restore the wrong things right that he showed toward her when his son Jesus was crucified to give her life that she gives back to him. Up next, our last release for today, Ian Yates' new album, Between the Joy and the Sorrow, Part 1. Ian Yates' new album, Between the Joy and the Sorrow, Part 1. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good album here. Stylistically, it's an alternative album that is pretty simple stylistically. It's just him and the acoustic guitar a lot of times, with some piano as well. In addition to alternative, we also do see worship and folk elements here. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. Ian talks about how he was busy doing good things, but when he fell apart in the fearful pain, he came back to resting in the God of grace, who faithfully never lets go, no matter what state his faith may be in. And Ian also comes back to reflecting God's peaceful love to enemies. Well, that's it for this week. Come back next week for 5 more releases. If you like what's on this video, please subscribe. I put out videos every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, if you have any thoughts on today's releases or what I may have said about them, let me know down in the comments below. Also in the comments, you can let me know if there's any awesome releases that came out today that you want to see in next week's video. Also, check out the playlist section for my Music Muffin Dream playlist available here on YouTube and also on Spotify. And this month's edition of the playlist, which just came out today, features songs from artists like Manifest, Matthew West, Rhett Walker, Big Daddy Weeb, and others, so go and check that out if you're interested. Well, before I go, I want to wish y'all a happy 4th of July weekend. And as we celebrate 4th of July weekend, so thankful to live in a country where I'm free to openly proclaim my faith in Christ every single week. So, very thankful for the freedom we enjoy to do that here in America. Well, go now. See you next week for more on faith in Christ. Bye!